What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast. This supports our morning show every single weekday or when I'm available to do it. But as always, my guy who's always my son is texting me right now. So we're gonna today is his 15th birthday. So let's bring my guy Raphael in, my numbers guy, who's always here to help. And Raphael, we are knee deep, my brother, in our countdown to the NFL season. We are, what is this? We got 22 shows left after today, and we really focused a lot on the AFC North today and Tyler Huntley signing with the Cleveland Browns. Do you think that the AFC North of all 8 divisions, NFC and AFC, will be the division because of the quarterbacks that gets the most attention in 2025?
Oh, yes. Last year was the NFC North that was getting all the attention. Shoot, at one point, maybe all 4 teams could have made the playoffs before the
Mm-hmm.
Bears fell off the face of the earth. This year, it's all the other side of the AFC North. And I think because of the questions we have at quarterback for the certain teams. If Pittsburgh gets any kind of better quarterback play they got last year, wow, 5-1 plus 550 division, that's a nice ticket to have. If the Bengals defense struggles, which I think they do, then what kind of tickets are they going to have? What's their record going to be? So a lot of question marks coming out of the 3 out of 4 teams in this division.
You know, it's interesting because when you talk about the NFL, you talk about legacies, you talk about quarterbacks, and there obviously can only be one quarterback who wins the Super Bowl every single year. And we're going through a really great time as far as top talents at the quarterback position right now. But what comes with that is you talk about what happened all those years ago with Dan Marino. He's always the standard of greatest quarterback without a Super Bowl. So now we're talking about Josh Allen. We're talking about Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. 2 of those 3 are in the AFC North, but they've got to figure out a way to get past number 15 that wears red and white and plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And sometimes you just go through a lot of bad luck that you come into the league, you make a shit ton of money, you have a great life, but yet you never win the big one. And Raphael, at the end of our lives, which are relatively short in comparison, nobody's going to care about the money you made. Nobody's going to care. What's going to carry on is your name and your legacy. And I wonder how much pressure that thought is starting to creep into the minds of a Lamar Jackson and a Joe Burrow, and maybe a little bit Aaron Rodgers, who is now going to be the starting quarterback for at least one season in Pittsburgh. And I think after the 2 years that he had in New York, even Aaron at north of 40 feels like he has something to prove.
It has to be in the back of their mind. Ask Charles Barkley. Ask Karl Malone. Ask John Stockton. Who do they hate? They hate Michael Jordan. Those quarterbacks you listed, you know who they hate right now? They hate Patrick Mahomes. So it's the same boat that we're seeing right now. I think Josh Allen might be in a different boat just because he's had success over Mahomes, but just hasn't won that ship. But every other
Mm-hmm.
quarterback has to look at their team and say, can I step up and take the throne?
So, speaking of stepping up and taking the throne, you're listening to the Coach and Company podcast. We're here most weekdays to support the morning show. If you missed any of it, you can watch it on demand at our Coach and Company YouTube page. While you are there, hit that subscribe button for it. We are only about 130 away, as we had to separate the 2 YouTube channels from being able to do the premium work that we want to do as well. So, hit that subscribe button. We played some sound on the morning show, Rafi, of Shadir Sanders. And I don't know that I can remember a player that has gone through more, a lot of it self-inflicted, chaos than what Sanders has gone through since prior to the NFL draft. But I feel like every time I hear him talk, every story that comes out of Cleveland, he's trying to do the right things. But he's got other quarterbacks that also want to be a starter in Cleveland. So I've heard reports that he could be all the way from potentially starting or potentially cut as a 5th round draft pick. If you had to lean one way or the other, which one would you lean to?
I think they're going to release him. I mean,
Really?
my sources saying that there's a reason why he's that low on the depth chart. He's the reason why Dylan Gabriel is ahead of him in the depth chart. So I think, and then you have to throw in the injuries. I can't believe he listed for a sore shoulder. We're only getting what 2 reps. Why is your shoulder? You're not throwing the ball. So I'm a little bit shocked that they listed that. as the injury, but I'm going to give a little hats off to him. I really like how he handled himself in that press release about my not telling his dad not to show up. He was very calm. He answered the questions, probably what he really thought inside. So I got to give him his hats off on that one.
I think it would be a gigantic distraction if his dad, Deion Sanders, came to practice. It would, especially if the media was tipped off to it, because then you'd probably go from the standard, 4 local channels that are out there every single day. Now all of a sudden ESPN is showing up, Fox is showing up, and there's so many more cameras that normally wouldn't be there on a random Tuesday at the beginning of August. And the fact that he's smart enough is awesome. But if he is, and I heard Louis Riddick talk about this the other day on ESPN, a lot of the talking football heads, most all of them have said this guy is a much better player than a 5th-round pick. And maybe this is going to be a story in 10 years, Rafi, where it's similar to the Tom Brady story, minus all those Super Bowls. But nobody knew that Tom Brady was going to be great when he was a 6th-round draft pick. Maybe this will be a blessing in disguise. And in 10 years, there's going to be a team that we don't even know or think about right now, not the Browns, that say, man, we got so lucky when we lucked into him back in 2025. I believe that can happen. I like this kid. I like watching him play. I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
I do, but this is when I wish the NFL had like a triple A or a double A where they can send this kid and actually get playing time, a game like we have in NBA where they have a G League, right? That's not called the G League. I can't really remember what it's called. So so people can actually watch him play in
Mm-hmm.
a game and not just sit back and only taking a couple reps at practice. That's why I think this signing they just did. Yes, I know there's a lot of quarterbacks injured. I think this is deeper. I think this is deeper why they brought this quarterback. And they could have brought in anybody just to put
Mm-hmm.
pads on and hand the ball off or get the defense ready. This one is very interesting.
It really, really, really is. We'll keep our eye on it as we count down to opening night, Thursday, September 4th. And we are still trying to decide. We actually have a meeting today to decide how much content we're going to do in the fall for all of you at home. You keep demanding it. We keep churning it out. This is the Coach Company Podcast, weekdays after the morning show around 11:15 or so a.m. Eastern time. Now, story coming out of L.A. And this one, it shouldn't be a story, but it is because of the lack of when it comes to LeBron James. So I'll give Luka Doncic all the credit in the world, Rafi. He has, when they got knocked out of the playoffs, he didn't just go on a vacation. He didn't get fat and happy. He didn't say, hey, I'm pissed off that we didn't make it farther past the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he went to work. And he's lost 35 to 40 pounds. He looks freaking amazing. He looks like completely different person with his face on that body. So the reason this is a story, and it was on the front page of ESPN.com, for God's sake, is that LeBron did not show up to the press conference to celebrate the 3 years, $165 million extension, which he'll make, what is that, $2 million more than LeBron is making. I guarantee you that ticks him off a little bit. But he called in on FaceTime to congratulate him. And then the Lakers did a group trip to Vegas. I'm sure private jets, caviar, steak to go see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. By the way, Rafi, did I tell you I was just chopping it up with one of the Backstreet Boys at Fluffy's birthday party 2 weeks ago? Yeah, he just kind of strolled in all by himself. It was very weird. Fluffy's
Thanks.
friends with everybody.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that story.
Well, I'll be sure and text you every time I'm hanging out with Fluffy moving forward.
Thanks.
However, I like the fact that the Lakers in the summertime, because to me, I'm big on team building. I'm big on everybody that is going down the same path, same journey, same highway. And LeBron was a no-show for that. And I believe he's already done all of his vacationing, because normally in the past, he'll vacation for a month or so. And then when he gets to August, he's back in the gym. It's about 6 weeks of training before training camp starts. And he knows at 40 plus years of age, he needs to put in extra work to be in the shape that he's used to being in. Are you surprised he hasn't been more engaged with the team this summer?
Not really, because I think he knows the end is very near. I'm more surprised that he didn't show up in Vegas because there's rumors all over that he wants to own the NBA team in Las Vegas. So I'm a little bit shocked that he didn't go there just because he can do business on both ends. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows to seize the writing and all. This is now Luka's team. So that doesn't really shock me. But can you imagine this story if the US didn't have NFL football? This would be every mainstream
Mm-hmm.
story, and this would be bigger than a extra would be there, and it would be on the bottom of every TV because it's LeBron James and Luka. So hats off to the NFL taking away this story, but I just think LeBron knows the end is there. It's Luka's team. Maybe we'll see John Cena and Cody. We'll see Luka and LeBron at the center court hugging it out and whispering each other, and then they walk away.
Isn't it amazing how quickly certain storylines can go away in sports because of the 24-hour news cycle? And for gosh, weeks, a year ago, when Bronny had just been picked in the second round, it was how much is he going to play? Is he going to make the team? LeBron and him, and we've been very critical. You and I have spoken many times about LeBron and his lack of sacrifice when it comes to this basketball team. And I know there's people out there that go, Coach, you're crazy to ask somebody to give up $50 million to put a winning team around him. Well, I can say this: if I was a billionaire, and I had a business set up to make millions when I'm done playing, and I have a lifetime contract with Nike, which will pay me $10 to $20 million per year, for me to want to win with my son, and now having Luka in the fold, that would take precedence over everything, including money. But he has never taken a haircut. He's never done what Tom Brady has done. He's going to make $52.6 million this year. If he took the league minimum, they would have $50 million to play with and put two really good players in addition to what they have. I think LeBron right now is fighting his legacy, and I think he would love to have one more. But Raphael, he's not making the moves that his camp says, well, we're going to wait and see what the Lakers do. Are they going to put a winning team around him? How about he helps them do that instead of taking every last dollar?
Yeah, you say they get two players. They could get one really good player and then build a bench because that's always been the Lakers' downfall
Yes.
is their bench. If they have an injury or foul trouble, who are you going to bring off the bench? But I totally agree with you because right now, your man up in Kansas City does it year after year after year. LeBron, call Patrick Mahomes. Talk to him because you could have another ship if you talk to him.
Every year he redoes his
Yeah,
contract. And
brilliant.
he could, if he wanted to. Patrick could walk in and say, he could have what I call the Nick Saban contract. Remember the Nick
Oh,
Saban
yeah.
contract?
Hmm.
Is that no matter who was the highest paid coach in college football, he always got, I think it was like 100,000 more. There was a number on top of that that he had a trigger in his contract. Can you imagine, Raphael, having a contract where you go, oh, Dabo, thank you for making $12 million a year. I'll now make 12.1. Oh, so and so, thank you for making 13. And now these salaries as coaches are literally out of control. That's what I would do.
Who's
That's what
the
I would do.
who's coaching company COO? I want that contract. I need to talk about my
I
contract.
know, right? Exactly. Exactly. All right, third topic, and we'll get out of here. We never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes. Do not forget, full slate of shows today. If you missed the Coach and Bro show, you can watch it on demand, or it now moves on Stadium to Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have Off the Ropes, Sirius XM channel 156. Every single weekday, I'll be hosting that today. And then, of course, the last word last night. And by the way, Raphael, I feel bad. I know you weren't on the show last night. Gabby is out of control. She's
I watched
absolutely
it.
out of control. Is she not out of control?
Well, she just got done interviewing Cody, so I gave her the pass last night because she was still on a Cody high. But I gave her a pass last night. But I can see where you're coming from.
I think Dirt Sheet Dan is a little bit jealous. I
His face looked
really,
like a
really
lost
do.
puppy dog when you brought him on the air after that interview. I felt like I should just buy that puppy right there because that's what Dirt Dan looked like.
Hey, man, I'll give him credit. It was, and this is a big topic in the world of sports, is the WWE and what they did on Sunday night. And I feel like they won the weekend because NFL, not quite front page news right now. Literally nobody's talking about baseball. Have you ever seen a summer? And I can honestly say this: I watch a lot. I read everything. I read all the recaps. I know all the guys and the numbers and all that kind of stuff to be able to do this job. But I haven't watched one full baseball game this entire season. Is baseball starting to wane just a little bit for you?
I told you this. Once the Hall of Fame game goes, baseball just gets hidden away, and I feel bad for it because my job, I have to watch a lot of games and stuff
Hmm.
like that for everything. But I feel bad for baseball because once week one of preseason that kicks off this Thursday, the only thing we're going to hear about baseball is playoff races, maybe an injury, how bad the Yankees have been playing, just those kind of tidbits. But baseball will be lost.
It it's really sad, to be honest with you, because I think there's some good storylines. But if you were to ask me right now, Coach, who's going to win the MVP, Coach, that I wouldn't be able to tell you. There's just so many sports now, and when you do what you and I do, and to me, you need to be an expert in order to do shows at this level. That's what I always believed when I was at ESPN. I believe it now. But it's really, really hard to be an expert in every single sport. So I tend to focus on NFL and NBA, and Major League Baseball and the NHL kind of take a back seat. What would be the sports that are out front for you just a little bit?
I mean, of course, football is for me as an odds making point of view because you always have to keep in front on that. But then I would say basketball is right there, NBA and college. Lately, I would say college football keeps on creeping up. I know NFL is creme of the creme, but I think the way the structure of college football and a transfer portal, and now it's pretty much wide open. It's not just SEC and everybody else. College football is making the NFL, hey, look back and say, uh-oh, there's another person right there.
It kind of feels that way. It kind of feels that way. And I think that in the next year or two, you're really going to start to see some structure put into the NIL situation, despite some of the laws that just recently passed. I really think that you're going to see college football see exactly what you just said. And they're going to say, hey, if we can put some structure together, somewhat of a salary cap, stop with the nonsense, paying a left guard a bunch of money to come to your school, and they can not only creep up, but now I think you're going to start to see big games on other nights because SEC mostly is Saturdays. Don't you think that maybe they'll start to open things up just a little bit? Perhaps if you're the fifth SEC game one week, why would you not play it on Fridays or Thursdays? I think that's the next step that they need to consider in big time college football.
Oh, definitely. You're going to see a Thursday game on Fox. It was between either a Big Ten or SEC team. We're going to see that just because of the structure, the where they're going. There's a reason why some of these big companies like Barstool are now linked up with Fox. There's a reason why that's
Mm-hmm.
happening. We're going to see big games, not just played on Saturday.
I'm telling you right now, I am bullish about our brand. I'm bullish about our shows. I think we have the right people in place. And having spent time, a long time, at ESPN and now on the other side of the fence, so to speak, I really feel like the entire media space is shifting. And when Stadium called us a year ago, I said, why us? And they said, because we're shifting and this is where we want to go. It's much more cost effective. And I think the reason Fox brought in Barstool, and hopefully, because Barstool's been around for 15 years, we've been around for 6 months, that in the next 2, 3, 4 years, that if we continue the grind, that there's going to be networks like Stadium that are going to be like, man, I would love to have that show turnkey. And could you have imagined 15 years ago? Because I couldn't. What a podcast was, what editing was, what all the things that we do now as normal was not even around 15 years ago. And I think there's a lot of people, I know a lot of my friends are stuck because in their minds they refuse to go there. Instead of, I tell them all the time, you got to embrace it, you got to evolve, you got to change, you got to be, I mean, I sit in this office more than I sit anywhere else, but I freaking love it. And I think now, you and I didn't know each other 3 years ago, and now we're great friends.
Yeah.
It not only brings people together, but I think it's a ton of fun too.
It feels like I've met you one on one in person like 5 years ago, and we've never met one on
No,
one in person. So it's weird. I tell myself, I've never met Coach, but I feel like I've known him my whole life.
it's really, really cool. I absolutely love it. I feel like we have a team, we have a family. You always say every morning, that's kind of your line, good morning, family. And I love that because that's exactly what we are. But now, as we move into the month of August, it's really time for us to step up. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Because right now we're Monday through Friday. And I'm anxious to get feedback from the fans listening right now, watching right now, on how much nighttime stuff we're going to do. How important for those people who are new to sports betting do you think live shows and live betting are going to be going into this season?
Of course, I would think when there's a game on, like Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I mean, people want Saturday primetime college football games, live shows, live watch along. So everyone talks about, ooh, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. But don't forget the big matchups on Saturday that we can have on ESPN if it's a big SEC battle or something like that. I think fans want that as well. Because I said, college football is creeping up the NFL
Mhm.
limelight and say, hey, you know what? Don't forget about us. That's why I think college football, we're going to see a maintain game on one of these streaming services for college football.
I don't think there's any doubt that Amazon or Netflix is going to be the next to get into the college football game. They already got into the NFL. My Chiefs are playing on Christmas Day again this year, so there's going to be a lot of changes. But I know that you love the grind, and I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to this, that if I am free, we will be doing a premium watch along here at Coach and Company. That's what we're going to do, whether it's Thursday night, whether it's Sunday night, because to me, the next 6 months are the most important months for our growth at our brands right here. Would you agree with that?
I agree. And a lot of stuff that I do live shows for other companies, I tell them in the chat, hey, you know what? You can still ask me a baseball question if I'm doing a football live show. That's why I like to talk to the people. I let them educate what I know because I've been in this industry for almost 30 years.
We need you. I call you my numbers guy for a reason. And also, baseball now is going almost all the way to November. So we're going to have 2 months of football, of baseball, and then preseason basketball all at the same time.
Didn't Wycliffe have a
Raphael,
song, Gone to November? That should be the baseball theme song now. Gone to
right?
November.
Gone to November. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we might have a show. I'm going to be wheels up today, as you guys know. The FedEx Cup playoffs begin in the home of FedEx, Memphis, Tennessee, the St. Jude, and we are expanding our betting stream on ESPN Plus, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, Thursday and Friday. I encourage you to tune in to ESPN Plus. I will be hosting the betting stream for the first playoff event. The top 70 players in the FedEx Cup standings tee it up. It'll go 70, 50, 30 for the next 3 weeks. No Rory McIlroy this week. He's decided to pass on the first playoff event in Memphis, Tennessee. That'll do it for now. Check out all of our content throughout the day. For my man, Raphael, producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you next time right here. There's only one Coach and Company, the podcast.